Next, we're going to move on to the cardiovascular assessment. I'm going to auscultate his heart sounds while he is supine, and then I will have him go on his left side, and I will auscultate heart sounds, and I'll use the diaphragm and the bell in both cases. All right, so the very first one I'm going to try, I'm going to auscultate on the right sternal border at the second intercostal space, and I'm listening for the atrial or aortic valve. And then I would move it over and I would do the left sternal border, and I'm listening for the pulmonic valve, but it's staying at that second intercostal space. I would move it down one intercostal space and stay on that left side, and this will be Erb's point, and I will listen for S1, S2, and then I'm going to move down 2 intercostal spaces, and I'm going to listen at the 5th intercostal space for the tricuspid valve. And then I would go to the mid-clavicular line, and I would listen for the mitral valve. And I will rotate this onto my bell, and I will do this all over again. All right, so starting at that left sternal border for the right sternal border for the aortic valve. And then I'm going to come over to the left sternal border, and now I'm listening to the pulmonic valve. And I will come down 1 to Erb's point. And I would go down 2 for the tricuspid valve. This is at the 5th intercostal space. And then I would go mid-clavicular line and listen for the mitral valve. All right, and can I have you lay on your left side for me? All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my diaphragm first. So I'm going to listen at that second intercostal space on the right side, and I'm listening for the aortic valve. And then I'm going to move over to the right side, and I am listening for to the left side, and I'm listening for the pulmonic valve. And I would go down 1 to Erb's point at the 3rd intercostal space. And I'll go down 2 to the 5th intercostal space and listen for the tricuspid valve. And then I'm going to come mid-clavicular line and listen for the mitral valve. I'm going to turn this over to my bell, and I'm going to do this over again. So again, I'm listening for the aortic valve on that right sternal border at the 2nd intercostal space. And now for the pulmonic. Go to Erb's point. Tricuspid. I'm listening to that mitral valve over the mid-clavicular line. All right, you can go ahead and lay on your back. Normal heart sounds were were auscultated. S1 and S2 was there, the lub dub. I did not hear any murmurs, and there was no S3 gallop or an S4 gallop. The S3 gallop would come after the S2 and is a ventricular gallop, and the S4 would come before the S1 and is an atrial gallop. Next, I'm going to palpate for the carotid, and then I'm going to auscultate as well. And I'm going to use that, do that using the bell. All right, can I have you look to the left? Take a listen. Take a deep breath and hold it. Okay. I'm going to have you go and look to the right. Take a deep breath and hold it. Okay. No bruise was auscultated. Next, I'm going to move on to the peripheral pulses. So I'm going to start out doing the radial pulses first, and I'll feel those at the same time. And they are both a +2. No differences. Into the brachial. His brachial pulses are also a +2. Popliteal. So this is a 2+. And this one is a 2+ as well. Next, I am going to go down towards the feet, and I will do the top. I will do the dorsalis pedis. And this is a 2+. And then I'm going to look for the posterior tibialis, which is also a 2+. And that concludes the cardiovascular assessment.